the road. I'm hoping to do that shortly because I'm hoping to put the guardrails in. I do have guardrails for all my roads. And so these little country roads, I mean, like if you had a real car and it could easily go off the, the cliff here into the water in any place. So we're definitely going to need to put the guardrails in soon. So I'm probably going to be doing that shortly. And I still have to weather the roads, and I still have to do all the line marking by Noch. They're guardrails. I have more than one package of them. Okay. So the big ones are about 5 inches. Let's see if they're both the same. Yep, so these larger ones are 5 inches, and these shorter ones are 2 inches. Okay, guys and gals, I'm going to put in one of the guardrails over here. It's going to be by that gas station. Okay, people. This is as far as I can zoom in. This unfortunately did not work very good. So I had, let me show you which one I had here. I went and got this 2-inch guardrail. So one of these, there's actually 2 guardrails in here now because it's snapped in half. This thing, they said on this package, when I read this thing for this guardrail stuff, this is the package, because I did get 3 packages. It says it's supposed to bend, and you can even see it in their little picture. It's bending here. It has 2 on it. It doesn't bend very much. It does bend. I mean, look, it does bend. You'd think it'd do the curve, but when I bent it to this radius, it broke. So I am thinking that these ones here, these 2-inch ones, are not meant to be bent. And I think these... So again, this one here is the 5-inch one. And it does look like it will bend. See, this one looks like... This feels like it's like a little bit not as stiff as the 2-inch one. So what I'm going to let you know is if you get some of this stuff, it's kind of good stuff. This 2-inch one is not very flexible, and I don't think is meant to be bent around the curve like the larger ones. So let's see if we can focus back in this picture. So you can see that it does curve here. So I think that is the larger one. So these large ones seem to be the ones that bend, and then these short ones seem like they can bend a little bit, but not really. It's really, I think they're supposed to be straight pieces. And so I put that one in there because it was about the same size. But when I went to go bend it that little bit, hey everyone, I just want to give you an update here on this guardrail that I put in yesterday. It took quite a while to dry to put extra glue in because this little feet thing here's the guardrail pieces. A little feet thing here, really hard to get the glue in. You can see they are bent a little bit to take that radius. Sorry about the noise. We're getting new sewer systems by my house, so we have some cranes and we have some bulldozers, and they're doing jackhammering and all sorts of stuff. So that noise is going to be around for a couple weeks. It's just what it is. But yeah, the guardrail did work out. Well, it's done a little different than I would have probably done it originally. I think I have come up to the idea that these ones are the straight ones, and these ones here are the ones to be bent. But they still did bend a little bit to make it around that corner, and it's going to look really cool. So that's right by that curve, and then where all this stuff is where the gas station's going to be. So, and then I'm going to put some scenery stuff in here, and then a little sign for the gas station, and there probably will be a light. morning, everybody. That there is what we got right now for the landscaping there. I'm probably going to add more. Right now it's really kind of dark and grungy. That's kind of what I was going for. A little dark and grungy, but I am going to lighten it up by putting in some kind of tall grass stuff. Here one. So I added some of this field grass. This is Harvest Gold. I got it in a little sample pack. So this is what it looks like. Little sample pack of it. I used hardly very little amount, and I've been able to add somewhat of that around here to kind of make it look like it's kind of a little bit more of a abandoned yard. It's not. It's going to be the oil canister yard here, but it's going to show that like they don't really go back there and kind of groom the area, so it's going to have some of this stuff growing. I don't want to put too much out. I got a couple little clumps there, and I'm going to let those dry for several hours and see how that looks. And if it looks like I need more, you can see that I have more than enough in this little sample pack. So this is like the little area where the oil stuff's going to be. So I want to weather some of these tanks a little bit more. And I'm not exactly sure on the placement here. I might move this little stack here. Whoa! The thing is, I haven't glued these tanks in. So I'm going to use that glue stuff. That tack glue, like for the Scenic accent glue. I'm going to use those to put these tanks in. So they're not obviously the right way, because right now I don't have the glue in there. I got this, you know, other little thing I'm thinking is sticking right there. And then I have this little, I'm sure you can see it. I'm kind of zoomed in pretty far. Let me see. I know the tank is, you know, because I don't have the glue out there yet. I got this little yard building on that I had. I'm thinking of taking it and painting it and maybe sticking it next to here. Really hard to get there. You can see really small. Now I have some oil drums. I want to stick some oil drums off to the side here. So I have signage for it's like a Mexican restaurant. I would like to put some kind of thing in between that maybe has a menu. But beyond that, I think I'm done. And then I finished all the paint around it and touched up. And then I also put the door on and stuck another sign that's going to be on the track side. I'm not sure if you can see the sign if I zoom in closer. Best I can get it. And then in the inside I put in the putty stuff for, I'm not sure if I can focus on that, it's going to be really hard. But all the putty's in there and it's ready to be lit up. The only thing I need to do is put the window film on and a little diffusing film, and I'm done. I'm done with that. Pretty much finished with. I said pretty much. I still have to put the signage on, and I have to put the big window here. So this one here I haven't glued in yet, and I haven't glued in the door or this front window, but I have the rest of the windows on everywhere else. I am going to add some of that diffusive film stuff in the top windows, and I have the roof on, but I have yet to paint it. And then I still have to add the two chimneys. I haven't added the chimneys in because I didn't have the roof in here. This one I added some more signage too. So I added the 5 and dime variety store next to the bank. This building, I'm not exactly sure what I want to make it. I have a really neat sign that's for a bicycle shop that I would like to use because it looks really cool. But I'm thinking maybe a clothing store because the town doesn't have a clothing store. Yeah, really tiny sign. So the upstairs will be apartments, and it's just at that corner. I think that looks really cool so far with the signs. And then in the inside, I painted all the back rear windows and this side all black. So everything is black on. So these windows here will not light up in the back. All the back ones. These here, here, and these side ones are all blocked off and it won't light up. But I will light up these side ones, the front ones, and I will even light up, I'm thinking. So far I got all the banks and the sides and the cliffs done, and this stuff here, it's going to be back of the waterfall. The actual riverbed surface I'm going to be doing next. Stones. So I got some bigger ones and some medium-sized ones. And I'm going to use a couple of these, not as many as there are in this bag. But I'm going to use a couple of them along the water areas. I'm probably going to see if I can paint them. What I'm going to actually try to do is I'm going to wash them, because they're mixed in with sand and stuff. So I'm going to try to wash these and then see if I can make them a different color by taking that liquid pigment and maybe just dipping these in there and seeing if I can get them a different color in a little container. So this here is called Talus. I got a little sample package of it. Stuff's not very big, but this also could be be on the riverbed itself, like little stones. It's kind of, I think it was meant for HO scale though, so I'm only going to put a little bit in. There is fine and medium mixed in this, but like I said, it was a sample pack, so I kind of have to sift through it. I've already kind of sifted through and tried to take out as many of the big clumps as I can, so when I put some in, it won't look out of scale. I guess I'm not going to use a lot of it. I'm just going to use a little here and there, but once I paint it up, I can add that glue on there then and add that stuff to different areas of, especially along the waterfall area. You know, anything that's like a waterfall, there is like rocks and stuff. I know I have these ones here, the plaster castings, but I want to add a couple, like I think if I just add a couple like of these things and glue them to the surface, you see the size is not very big. Well, they're not very big, but they would still be a pretty big boulder for an N scale size. So it's a pretty good boulder size for N scale. And then this would be a larger type boulder for N scale. So I'm thinking like having some of those in the water area, not a lot. And some of them can be off to the edge, you know, just in the rapids section. That's where I kind of want to see putting some of those. Hey everyone, so I did start painting the riverbed. As you can see up here, I got sort of a base color in there of some browns and stuff. And then I'm going back over with making some areas a little darker where it needs to be deeper. So I started a little bit. I like some of it, but some of it still needs a lot of work.